Welcome to the Hub Podcast. I am one of the hosts, Cheney Passer. I don't have any. I don't have any this time.
I'm here.
You're here.
I'm the girl here.
As always, the second half, I don't know.
The girl version of you.
No. Not even that. You're not. You're not only a girl version, but you're also like complete opposite person.
That's true.
It's not even like.
That's true.
No, we're two different people.
I'm the slightly less manly voice that you hear in these episodes. I'm the roommate, the business partner,
No. I mean, you're probably the person that most want to listen to, and then I'm the other half.
No, I strongly disagree with that.
But
don't you ever want to promote your podcast? My new favorite podcast?
No, not really. I mean, I don't really care.
Okay, it's a secret.
Oh, it's not a secret. I have my own and
Change the world.
and I don't know, ramble, I guess.
You're gonna have your own YouTube for that, right? It's not gonna be connected to us.
No, I think probably own. It's just a different feel, you know? I feel like this is more, I don't know. This is more like
a different
fitness.
vibe. Like
it's a different
also
vibe.
Two people talking versus the other one is just you. And I wouldn't say it's a guy's podcast. I think it's for everybody, but it's kind of like there's not going to be any like this kind of has somewhat of a theme most of the time. Like we're helping people, we're talking about information, we're giving information to where yours, I feel like is just going to be who knows you're going to get.
Well, and I think like this is so connected to like our business, the Hub, and health and fitness and exercise programs and all that type of stuff, where like my podcast doesn't have really anything to do with any of that stuff.
Yeah.
In fact, I even like tried not to talk about health and fitness and stuff and save it for this. I've got other interests and other things that I want to talk about and joke about and all that type of stuff that like it's just kind of separate.
It is a little bit more light, I feel like. I'm not involved with it at all. I just watched it. I'm just a watcher. I'm just a viewer. I'm just a subscriber. And it's more funny and more just light and kind of can be complaining about certain things or just different topics that we probably never would touch on.
Right. And then because of that, I don't think it should be really connected to this at all. Yeah. It's just like, it's a different vibe. It's a whole different thing in general that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't fit. Like it doesn't fit what this is at all. So I think it's best to just have it be its own thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't think I don't really want to promote it on here or talk about it, I guess.
Okay.
I mean, we could talk about it, whatever. I don't care. But
okay.
It's not like I have an agenda to
sure
bring it up and try to get people to go watch it or anything. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just me being dumb.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
But,
so what do you want to talk about?
Well, I feel like we're almost a week away now from, like a week away from Thanksgiving. And then it's like, I don't know. I was just thinking I get so into like making the food and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Because growing up for me, like Thanksgiving wasn't that. There wasn't a whole bunch of attention put towards it, I guess you could say. We always went to my grandma's on my mom's side. And I mean, they all put in effort and they all did it, but it just never felt that special to me.
Mm-hmm.
To where now just me doing it, I guess for us or us doing it together, it's like I look forward to it way more than, maybe it's because I'm more a part of it. Like I'm making more of the food and I'm, I don't know, trying to make it more of an event.
Yeah.
to where before it was like I was just a person that was kind of invited to it and would go.
Yeah.
And wasn't a part of like the creation of it. But I don't know, it's just like I'm so excited for Thanksgiving more and more now.
Yeah.
That's like I don't know, I don't really know that for you. Like is there anything that excites you about it?
Yeah, I love it. I love that we get to spend the whole day just like cooking and putting time and attention towards something that isn't work or isn't something, I don't know, like adult life related, like running errands or going to, like, it's just something like cooking and making fun food that we normally don't get to make and drink all day and just hang out. And I like dressing up or, looking cute the whole day. And I think my mom did and my dad too, both my parents did a really, really good job of making things special growing up.
Yeah.
And creating, whether it's traditions or I don't really care about traditions. It's not like it needs to be the same every single time, but just making things special. Like 4th of July could be a holiday that just gets swept under the rug and doesn't really matter. But since from the earliest memory that I have, like my parents made a really large effort to, make, putting cool outfits on and going to the parade every year. And sometimes we would be in the parade from my mom's studio. And then either we're going back to the house and everybody's coming over for like a party that we're going to have, and then we go out later and do the fireworks, or just, I don't know, making it each year it evolved to something else because we either got older or, family dynamics changed, but making it an event.
Yeah.
My family did a really good job of making things an event. And even something like Thanksgiving, where if it was just my dad and me and my sister and no family was around, like still taking the time to make all of the food.
Yeah.
Even though, is it necessary to do that for 3 people? No. But is it fun? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I like taking that mentality with us, especially because our adult life has been away from family. We've always lived away from people. So it's not like, oh, we're an adult and we can still like go over to grandma's or go over to our parents' house and still have that memory have the tradition and specialty that they have created. We were kind of just, okay, now we're making our own. You can either have Thanksgiving and have 4th of July and have all those days just pass by and it doesn't really matter. Or you can take the time and make it something special.
Yeah.
So I'm just happy that we make the effort for us, even though you really don't need to.
Yeah. Well, and that's I think what I've learned with this too is like somebody always did all that stuff,
Yeah.
whether it was Christmas or Thanksgiving or any of the holidays, somebody always was putting it together, and then I would just kind of show up to them or be,
Yeah.
everybody would go.
Yeah.
To where now living away where it's not just you go to grandma's or you go to, aunt and uncle's house for 4th of July or any of that type of stuff. Like it's just us. If you want to celebrate or have those fun times, like you do have, like we have to do the effort now.
Yeah.
We have to put in the effort and make something of it. And yeah, I don't know. To where it's kind of cool. Like Thanksgiving was kind of a whatever holiday to me for a long time, to where now it's like I really look forward to it and doing it and putting in the effort. Yeah, I don't know. It's just different. Like being around family forever and doing that, and then now that we're away, and I mean we go back for Christmas and we do that, so that's all kind of still put together for us. But even just like us decorating our own apartment or home, and then basically any of the other holidays, like we have to do it, and it's like it's way more fun when we do. It's way more fun when we put in the effort and we do it, and like.
And I think it's cool, like taking some traditions that we grew up with, and then also some making our own. Like putting up the Christmas tree was always a thing in my house with my mom. Of like we'd put Christmas music on and it would be NSYNC and Justin Bieber, and listen to music and have a fun drink while we're doing, whether it's hot chocolate or, we do something different now, but like having a fun drink, listening to something cool, taking the time together to do that. I don't think we've ever missed a year of doing that since as long as I can remember. So now that getting to do that, it's cool that we get to share that together. And then when we have kids, be able to give them that experience too, or some version of that it might alter into something else because they do something different or have a different idea. And then we can do that as a family. Or something like 4th of July where we have completely switched it around because we haven't really had parades by us, or it's been COVID and we not allowing it, or fireworks don't really happen. So we've kind of created our own somewhat of a tradition of doing like a cookout kind of thing, or whatever. But that's, I don't know, that kind of stuff is really cool. I don't like the tradition part of it. I get weird when it's like, well, we've done it this way forever and now we have to do it. I don't know. I'm kind of I'm judgy about that. But I think there is something cool about making an effort to make something special, because everything can be nothing. Oh, if you don't. You have to make the effort.
That's something that I think both of us have realized living away is like, I mean, you said it earlier, like things will just pass by.
Yeah.
Without there being anything.
Yeah.
Whether it's 4th of July or Thanksgiving, Easter, or any of the holidays, like it's so much easier just to not do anything. And it goes by and it's just another day. And maybe you get off work because of it, but nothing is really, I don't know. Yeah, it's not special or whatever. That like being away, you're forced to.
Yeah.
If you want to celebrate this or have this be special or feel like anything, you have to do something. You have to make it special.
Yeah. Is that something that you appreciate your mom a little bit more for?
Oh my God. Anybody or
like realizing like, oh my gosh, this is a lot of things.
Yeah. And especially like with my mom and my
just
dad.
Like cooking that much food. It's like, she does that just all the time. But then especially like for something like that, like Christmas, like, I don't know. Like she does it with such ease. And like my grandma doing it with such ease and.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's a ton of appreciation. I think, and it's not to bring them down at all, but I think there's a little bit of like, I don't want to say incentive, but I don't know what the word is, but there's a little bit of something that, they have a whole bunch of people coming and enjoying it with them or whatever.
Yeah.
To where for us, it's like, I mean, I love you, but it's like, it's just you.
It's no different than me. It could be just making dinner any other night.
Yeah. It could just be us sitting down watching a movie, So I feel like it's a little bit more of something, a little bit more to get up for and want to do and be excited to do when, all of your kids are coming over and your grandkids, and there's a little more oomph to it. But I mean, even still, like, it's like, look at the track record. Since my mom has had a kid, she's thrown Christmas. And it's like, that has never stopped.
Yeah.
Even just like year after year for how many years? Same with your grandma. It's like, it's just it's just the consistency.
Yeah.
And it's hard to do every year. All of that effort, all that time. And most of the time it's, just them doing it.
Yeah.
Like with my mom and my dad, it's not like my dad was in the thick of it, doing everything,
He basically just showed up like everybody else.
Yeah. And I mean, from a little bit of what I've heard, I feel like he would write, from Santa or whatever and our names and stuff, because like we didn't know what his handwriting looked like. But it's like, that's about the extent that he was in on everything.
Don't be writing any permission slips. You know what you have to do at the first time. You have to keep it a secret.
Yeah. But he was maybe...
He's like signing anything just secret. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Got way too into that.
He was maybe getting the tree, but even that for a little while was kind of a family event. And then that kind of dwindled away, and then it was like Carrie was going and getting the tree. So it's like, I don't know. My mom has just been like puts everything together
Yeah.
with it. It's like it doesn't happen without her.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's same with your mom, same with your grandma.
Mm-hmm.
And it's no knock on your dad, but it's like your mom's Christmas is way different than your dad's Christmas.
Oh yeah.
Your dad brings up a
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
a 2-foot tree and sets it on the thing and goes, "Merry
Yep,
Christmas.
yep.
Let's open gifts."
That's what
Which is
I love about both sides. Like that is the truest to me. That's like one of my favorite parts of going back home though, is that of like 2 hours or 3 hours of like, you know, he makes it important to turn the TV off. It's important.
Yeah.
But yeah, like there's no tree. Some of the things are wrapped, but it is just like us just having fun and laughing for like 2 hours straight.
Yeah.
And it's the best.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
well, and it's so true to him and like what it even means to him of like
it's just hanging out.
I don't need all this fluff stuff. I'll bring up my
Yeah.
2-foot tree and let's open some gifts. But yeah, we're
Yes.
just like telling stories and laughing. And I mean, like, what was it, last Christmas or 2 Christmases ago?
Oh my God, that Tens machine.
Yeah, when Kara got that Tens machine.
Holy crap,
We're
that was so.
we're sitting there for like 2 hours putting these like muscle shockers on us, and he's like, bump it up to 10, bump it up to 10. And it's just like that's what that
when
Christmas
it's on somebody
is.
else.
Yeah.
Crank it up. She can handle more.
Yeah.
As the muscle like seizing.
Yeah. And that's what the fun of that Christmas is, totally. And then your mom's the complete opposite, where it's like what's so cool about that one is the production that she puts on with it. It's like the house is decorated perfectly, and it's just the scenery of it all. It just feels like Christmas, and you walk in, it's like, oh, this is where Christmas is.
Yeah. That's what I like. The version of Christmas that we get with my dad versus my mom is totally who they are too.
Yep.
Like my dad, it's just about like just hanging out and undivided. We're just together laughing, whatever, something like that. Someone gets a muscle shocker for Christmas and there we go. There's the night.
Yeah.
But then same thing with my mom, like learning how to host. Maybe, there's different versions, but, like everyone kind of has a role. Like if you walk into my mom's house and she's hosting something, like you are taken care of from the moment you get there until the moment you leave. Like your coat is taken, your present is taken. We know what drink you want. We know what food, your favorite food is. So we make sure that we have it. And she takes care of all of the food, all of the planning, all of the gift situation.
Yep.
Just the organization of everything.
Yeah.
No one has to worry about it. They just have to show up and they know that every little detail is going to be accounted for.
Yeah. And
that's what I think is so cool watching my grandma too, is we didn't get to do these kinds of things where she was in charge, because with them living in Indiana for most of, I guess, my childhood, that to see it be at her house now, it's really cool to see. Like, it is such a talent to me that like cooking dinner for that many people. It's like,
yeah,
knowing when to put things in and what, and when to start it and when to take it out, and like wrangling that many people and planning how it's going to go down, and just but not be stressed about it, and just like we're all here to be together. And yeah, that's something about like I grew up seeing the women, I guess, do that. Like, and even that, like your mom or your grandma or even your aunts and my mom and my grandma doing that. That's something cool, I think, as a girl to look forward to, of like, yeah, that is your role in the family, is to provide those experiences for everybody.
Yeah.
And to see it be done so seamlessly is really cool.
Well, I think, yeah, if you can look at it that way, for sure. I think maybe it's looked at as a burden of like, oh, we do all the work or whatever. But, yeah, I don't know what, I'm definitely want to be on the front lines of cooking stuff and doing that. So I don't know what happened with me of why I want to be kind of in the creating the event. But, it's not like Thanksgiving with us is you're making all the food and I'm just sitting doing nothing.
Right.
Like I'm just as active as you are, and yeah, I don't know. I don't know why that for me that I want to be in it like that, but
I think that's our dynamic of our relationship though. Like I feel like my view of maybe an old school relationship, like say my grandparents, is my grandma is doing most of the things. To where I feel like our dynamic is very equal no matter what the task is.
Yeah.
So if we're hosting people, you're just as involved as I am. Or we're doing dinner, we're splitting the roles. Or we're cleaning, we're splitting the roles.
And I think we're good at, if somebody's kind of just enjoying the time with somebody, the other person will kind of take over for the other stuff that needs to be done.
Sure. Yeah.
We're good at being fluid with that I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. Like say a family is here or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
But it's so fun. I'm so excited to go for Christmas. I'm excited for Thanksgiving to begin with.
Yeah.
But Christmas is just kind of that other level too. It's so just like, it's crazy, It's we're so used to being on our own and having the downtime kind of whenever we want it, that when we go home for Christmas, it's like there's zero downtime. It's like go the whole time because we've got, 4 families kind of to be going to and being with, and it's like all of our time is scheduled and it's with these people, and then we move to the next group of people, and it's just go, and there's no downtime. That like it's very out of our element a lot of the times. It's draining to us, but it's like it comes down to like I don't know if I want it any other way though.
It's just like a power week, power 2 weeks.
Yeah,
it's like this isn't the time to be rested.
Yeah,
you're not supposed to feel good.
Yeah,
like you're supposed to feel like you've eaten like crap and drank way too much and
stayed up way too late, gotten
like,
up too early.
To me, it's like just power through it. Like that's what this is supposed to be. I don't know. I wonder if there will ever come a year going back that I don't have like a stress or I don't know, like, and maybe everybody feels this way around Christmas time.
That's like all you ever hear.
But it's just like, oh my gosh, this is like a lot. Not even just scheduling. It's just there are so many different emotions going on. And I feel like around the holidays, there's so much drama that for some reason happens. And I don't know, like our families all have such different vibes about them and personalities. And
yeah, that alone's somewhat...
Ooh, this is a lot.
That alone is somewhat tricky to handle, is just the different... Yeah, the trying to come in and out of the different vibes that each grouping of people has is just like... I don't know, and it's... I think everybody somewhat says like, oh, just be who you are and blah, blah, blah. But it's like, I'm so many different versions of myself around different groups of people. Like I know what jokes work with your mom and your mom's family versus what jokes work with my family. Yeah. And it's like, and just like, I know what is more comfortable and pleasing to each group of people.
Yeah.
Versus the opposite group of people. So it's like, just be who I am and whatever. I don't think that I'm not being myself, but in the same sense, it's like, I'm not going to be this one static person in every single situation because it's like, it may not make some people feel comfortable. Yeah. Where other people, it is comfortable and it's fun or whatever. That like, I don't know. I never really get that or have gotten that of like, just be who you are in every moment. It's like, well, I'm still being myself, but it's like
every situation brings out a different version of me.
Yeah, totally.
Not even just person, but like you going to a concert versus you going to yoga class. You gonna be the same person? No. It's
Well,
the same thing. Your family versus my family brings out a completely different event. Like it's like different activities are happening, different conversations are happening. This one has a gazillion babies running around. This one is all retired people. Like,
yeah. Well, it's like what we brought up in the beginning. Your dad's Christmas is the complete opposite of your mom's. Why would
yeah.
we go into your mom's Christmas with your dad's vibe and attitude
Right.
and vice versa? Like, it doesn't make any
Right.
sense.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't know. I kind of dislike that narrative of like, just be who you are in every moment. And I feel like it's maybe misinterpreted a little. That it's like, yeah, be who you are, but don't be this static version of yourself that's like, well, I'm bold and I say what I think. And you go into one situation and that works and that everybody appreciates that. But then you go into another and it's like, geez, you can relax. We're all friends
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
That's like, even just like, I mean, not to bring up my podcast again, but it's like that version of me is not that version of me is not how I really talk or communicate with you all the time. Because it's like, it's like I know my audience. I know what jokes work with you or what topics you enjoy and what you want to talk about versus like the things that maybe I just want to talk about and ramble about. And
Yeah.
that's like, we're so many different versions of ourselves.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to go into even just the Christmases. I'm not going to go into every Christmas being the same person.
Yeah.
And I think that's also what's so draining about this time of year is having to be so many different versions of yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like for me, and this might sound kind of like, oh my gosh, get over it. But I feel like when it comes to going back for Christmas, some family members have such a high expectation for it. And again, going back to the word tradition, like they have such a, it needs to be this and it needs to feel like this and it needs to be how it has always been. And then when it's not that, they go, well, what's the thing that's different? I'm going to blame that. And when we're the ones that are not there all the time, it feels like we're not, like someone's always disappointed in us. We're not giving enough. We're not there enough. We're not giving them time. We're not there as long as they want, or we didn't schedule enough time over here, or I don't know. Like I just always feel like I'm disappointing someone, or we're disappointing someone, or I don't know. It's like Christmas, and this is where it says like I feel like someone's gonna feel like, okay, get over it, and you're being selfish. But I feel like Christmas is so not about me anymore. Like since we have lived away, it's like I'm doing Christmas for literally everybody else but me. To where I'm there, I'm a part of the experiences, but like, am I taking it in for my enjoyment, or is it like, oh yeah, I remember doing this because this person needed that. I was a part of it, but
yeah. Well, I mean, how can you take it back then? I mean, not that it necessarily needs to be just all for you, but like,
no, yeah.
It should be a little bit for you.
Yeah.
And I saw something recently too that I thought was very true of like, these major things, almost all of it's so much about the anticipation. Like Christmas is so much about the anticipation, I think.
Sure.
And then when it gets to that point, it never meets that expectation. It never does. I'm always so thrilled and excited every single time. And then when it's all happening, I'm like, man, I thought this would like be a little better.
See, I don't you say that almost every year. I don't experience it like that. I haven't noticed that of like it being better in my mind.
But I think it's also, I just have this extreme expectation, and it's not that anything or any situation is supposed to meet that expectation. I think it's just I don't know, just the aura about it. like Christmas is just so magical and it's so
Mm-hmm.
this and it's bringing family together and it's all these things and it comes up every year in this extreme way. And then you're at it doing it and it does feel a little different, but at the same time, it's also like this kind of feels like every other time I've gotten with my family. And it's not that it's a bad thing at all, but I think
Yeah.
it's built up so much that.
And that's kind of what I'm saying is I feel like, yeah, when you built it up and then it's just regular, then they go, do you need to cut it? You did this, so I thought that was cut.
Only got 6 minutes left. Okay.
Um,
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
when it doesn't live up to their mind or what it used to be, then that's where like the fingers start pointing. Maybe not directly towards people, but like this is why. And I feel like
Yeah.
sometimes I feel like we're a part of the why just because it's like, well, we didn't get enough time with you, or you had to leave early for this to go visit someone else's family, or whatever it is. Like, I don't know. It's always like there's drama, but it's like we're the ones that aren't in the normal. So when it's like, well, everybody's together, what's the weird part about it? It was these two, and it felt weird.
Yeah, but I mean, that's never not going to be the case. I mean, nothing's ever going to go the way that our expectations expect it to go. It never happens that way. Never happens that way. That like,
For me, it does most of the time.
I think,
So bad.
I think for a lot of people that ends up being, okay, there's a problem and I need to fix the problem, or I need to diagnose what is wrong with the situation. So it's just like, I don't know. It's never not, that's never not going to be the case.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
think it's just weird for me because it's a new feeling.
which is
I've
so,
never felt that before.
but that's so weird to me because it's like, when has anybody ever, when have you ever done anything that has met somebody else's expectations of what you should be doing, what career you should be doing, what, you know, soda you should be picking? Like, everybody has their own opinions and thoughts of how things should happen or what somebody else should do or whatever, that like nobody's ever meeting anybody else's expectations ever. That it's maybe just um what's the word? It's maybe just blown up more at Christmas because everybody's more sensitive and everybody wants it to be so special. So it's easier to point fingers, but like this is happening all the time.
And I don't experience that all the time.
I don't.
Like, and I'm trying to think of like all the things that you said.
I believe that. I believe that you don't experience that all the time, but it's always happening. It's just you're not maybe paying attention to it or not worried about
Sure.
it. But when it comes
Or people
to,
are not telling me or something.
I mean, maybe, but when we get into this time of the year and more sensitivity comes in, I think you're more aware of it then at that point.
I think for me, I feel like we put in and maybe this is what it is. I think in most
We're keeping all that in.
I think in most situations, I feel like whether it's with work or money stuff or even like you said, like the career, like I feel like now I'm really only like, wow, you're doing better than I thought you would. Or you're exceeding my expectations. To where I feel like we put so much time, effort, and money into going back home for Christmas and the scheduling and making it work for all the families and I feel like that's where we get shit on the most of like, yeah, but you didn't do this. It's like, well, can we get any like, hey, we're coming back. Hey, we're, giving the time. Like, I don't know. I just feel like I feel like the amount of effort, to me, it feels like to go back for Christmas. And then it's like, yeah, but this thing. It hits me more because of all the extra stuff.
Yeah, I get that.
Put in for it.
I get that. And I mean, I think it's something that you gotta learn how to deal with, because especially with, we want this business and this podcast to be as big as it possibly can. And what comes with that is a ton of interaction from people. And that's a lot of what would be happening, is that, you're not doing enough. You're not good enough. You're not, putting enough podcasts out a week, or you're not talking about the things that I want you to be talking about. We're all innately selfish.
Yeah.
And that comes through at times of sensitivity, which I think is holidays and Christmas, or just at any point.
Yeah.
And I think it bleeds through everywhere. It's just Christmas is a sensitive time. The holidays are a sensitive time. So everybody's kind of on high alert. And that's where maybe you notice it the most. But it's like, this is never not going to be happening. Whether it's with Christmas or it's with this podcast or
sure,
anything. Nobody is going to be satisfied or happy with the amount of work or effort or time that you're putting in or doing. So it's going to be, well, you're not doing enough. You're not doing it the way that I want you to be doing it. And some of that can be motivation or whatever, but for me, I think that's why you find a partner or a person that can go, no, you are. Don't worry. You're fine. You're doing a lot. You're doing more than you should be. I mean, how many times do I tell you, like, you work way too freaking much.
Sure.
Stop working. So everybody else is going to be telling you that or saying that to you. But
well, I think that's just what's tricky is, like, I get more of the positive. I rarely get anybody telling me, you're doing it wrong. You're not doing enough. We don't like how you're doing this. Like, I really don't get that. I do get just the positives. So I think when I do get well, I don't even notice all the other stuff that you're doing. I just want to point out how you're not to my standard when you come back home for Christmas. That's when I think I just get more irritated, because I don't get that very often.
Well, and that's somewhat where we're opposite. Is I've only ever gotten like, hey, this level of success or whatever isn't good enough. You gotta give more or put more in or do more. And then in return, when there is some positivity or like, hey, I like this thing you did, or good job, or whatever, I'm like, this is weird. I don't like this compliment stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
To where you're the opposite.
Yeah.
You have a hard time taking the criticism, but you're okay with taking the compliments. And it's not.
Yes, that's so true.
And it's not in a like, oh, you'll take all the compliments. It's not in a negative way or a fun, it's not in anything. It's like, here's two things that happen. Mm-hmm. You respond better to one and I respond better to the other. And then the opposite thing, we would both respond negatively to it.
Yes.
That it's just like a character default, and just need to try to work on being better at responding to that other thing. I need to be better at responding to positivity. When somebody says like, hey, good job or whatever, I'm like, what's your motive here? Like what are you trying to get out of this? Or what, are you lying? Are you trying to trick me? Are you trying to make me like,
yeah. Are you joking?
Are you joking?
Sarcastic?
Yeah. All those things, to where it's like, you just need to work on being better at responding to those things. And, like also just not taking it personally, or just
that is so like, true. I think that not taking it personally, because most of the time it's so illogical anyways. The complaints.
Well, it's like what you just said, the amount of, with Christmas, the amount of like work and time and effort and money that we spend to go home and make that work and, try to make it as normal feeling as possible and whatever, um, it's not really accepted as that.
No.
That like you said, it's kind of illogical. It's like, well, if you only knew how like I felt inside about this,
if you're not
you would.
taking all the things that we are doing in consideration, these few hours that you're talking about, if you didn't get it extra, well then, yeah, it's like, why am I even getting upset? Because it's not logical.
Right. Well, and I think you could say all the words in the world that you wanted to say, it wouldn't come across because we can't feel each other's feelings.
Sure.
You know, if you could feel the genuineness about us trying to make that work and happen, then maybe there wouldn't be the complaints. And I think that's true for anything and everything. Where it's like we do that so much of complaining about something else or somebody else that they should do this or that or whatever, and not take into account what they're already producing and trying to do and how they feel about it. That like that person could be trying so hard and you're sitting there going like it's not enough. And it's like, well,
Mm-hmm.
if only you could feel what they were feeling, because you would understand that they're doing the best they can.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
But that's it's super difficult to do.
Yeah.
But I think it's enough to try to do that.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's literally what we're describing is compassion. That's the word for it.
Yeah.
Like, that's literally what it is.
Yeah. I think each year it's gotten better for me. Truly, like I think I'm working on it. I think we're working on it as a team. Um I do. I think every year since we've been away has gotten better. I think it's just trial and error and learning, and it's almost like you get one shot this year to figure out the kinks from last year. So it's not like a
Yeah.
continual thing that we can practice. So I do. I think it's getting better.
Well,
I
and
think it just is. It just like I go into it like this can nope be good, and then I always fall into oh this is stressful and we're fighting and we're not even there yet. We're just making the schedule. Where I think
sure.
every year it's like okay no that's okay. Just need to give in a little bit. Need to adjust on my end a little bit. Need to not take it personal.
But I think this is everyone around this time of year, or almost everyone. Like, I feel like this is like the narrative you hear is that the holidays are stressful and you have to go see family and you're breaking your routine and going and seeing a bunch of family and being around a bunch of people, and I feel like that's what you hear all the time. Is that this time of
Yeah, I
year
think it
is
was just
stressful and
a
it's
shock.
hard
It's
and
never been like this for me ever in my life before.
yeah.
So it's just like when we started dating and then we moved away, it's like, oh, okay, this is definitely a Christmas I've never experienced. This is Christmas time. Like Christmas has never been the same. It's always this. And just learning to adjust of this is the new way. How can you make it fun and enjoyable? And yes, it's not going to be how it was when you were a kid, obviously, but like, yeah, just adding new elements to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just learning, trial and error.
I mean, this is like, this is what the Buddhists talk about, as it's like life is suffering, and you have to accept it and take it for what it is. Like, it's suffering, but it's also all of the other things of life. You're not gonna go through life just it being wonderful and euphoric and all of the things you've ever wanted it to be all the time.
Yeah.
That's just not what it is. It's not that for anybody. I mean, how many rich people kill themselves? That doesn't make any sense in my head. But at the same
Sure.
time, when you live life long enough, you go, I could see how that happens now.
Yeah.
I can see how somebody, even with all the money, doesn't want to be here and do this.
Yeah.
Life is all of the things, including suffering. So
Yeah.
it's like, this is part of it. You have to accept that and do the best you can to make it not that. But it also is just, it is what it is. This is what it is.
Yeah.
This is a part of it.
Yeah.
And I think the people that have the harder lives in the beginning, it either makes it so much that like they just continue to go down that route, or it's they become so wise because they just have struggled so much in the beginning and they figure out what life really is a
Yeah.
lot quicker. And I think that's somewhat of parenting too, as it's
Sure.
like, I mean, make sure you're setting your kid up to understand what this whole thing is all about.
Yeah.
You're a full grown adult and you know that this shit is not all sunshines and rainbows. So don't set up your kid to think that it is.
Yeah.
And that comes down to the simplest thing and some of the most luxurious thing of like, you get to go home for Christmas. You get to celebrate Christmas. You know
Yeah.
how lucky we are to be able to celebrate Christmas? You know how lucky we are just to be born in the US?
Yeah.
Like
Well,
it's
and
the bratty thing to do and it's the bratty thing to say of like, you're lucky. You were born here. You have you live in the US, you're a citizen, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's out of 350 million people that live in this country, and there's like 7, almost 8 billion on the planet. Those are pretty slim odds for you to be
Yeah.
set up right here. And I think it makes you put life into perspective a little bit more. Mm-hmm. That it's like, yeah, it's stressful and it's hard to go home for Christmas because it's difficult, but at the same time, welcome to life.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
It's a never-ending process. I mean, it's like your grandpa, who's, 70 what years old. He probably doesn't. It's not. Christmas isn't probably perfect for him.
Sure.
He's probably sitting there going, "I wish fucking 8 of these people were not here." I wish these people were not here. I wish,
Yeah.
whatever. Mm-hmm. And he's 70 something years old and he's still dealing with that type of situation.
Yeah.
It's like this never ends. And I think the quicker that you can realize that and accept that, the better off you're going to be.
Yeah.
It doesn't end.
Yeah.
The quote unquote suffering doesn't end. There's never a time where it ends.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard for me to, because I get it. I know how I sound like a brat. I know how it sounds like I'm just complaining about things that are dumb. And I should be looking at it as you should feel, good. And like the fact that you both have been able to go home every single year since you've been away for Christmas. We have never missed a Christmas back home. We've always been able to fly back. This year we're driving back, but like to be able to what?
Keep that in.
What do you mean? I feel like it's like I'm losing my voice kind of now. Because it doesn't sound. It's not going off. It's not going away with a cough. The fact that we've been able to create that situation for ourselves, that we've been able to go home. We've been able to go back we're going to go back for 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. Like the fact that we have the availability to do that and create that in our schedule and financially be able to do that. And like offer the time to everybody and be able to be with everybody also, and like the family that is there, be able to hang out with them and all of that. But I'm also just a brat too.
Oh, we all are.
And I go, I'm spending all this money to get shit on for 2 weeks. That seems crazy.
Yeah,
and I'm going back into the freaking winter.
But here's the other side.
I know that's not the point.
Well, and here's the other side. Think about how we started this podcast. If you're talking about your dad and the muscle shocking thing, and how much you were laughing about that, and
that is very true. Yeah,
you don't get that by not going home.
There's just, it's something about freaking Christmas. It's not, if we go back for 2 weeks in June, it's not like this.
It's because everybody's
ramped up.
It's sensitive.
Yeah.
It's such a sensitive time.
I think because it goes back to the tradition thing of it needs to feel like this. Where it's like, we go back in June. There's no agenda. It's just to hang and have fun and enjoy each other. This is like, we need to have fun and enjoy each other.
Yeah. And
because it's Christmas.
To me, tradition isn't the right word, but it's the
expectation.
It's the magicalness that Christmas is. I mean, think about Christmas as when you're a kid. Like, it's so magical. It's so just like otherworldly, and it's amazing, and it hardly ever goes wrong. And then you grow up and you see the other side of what Christmas is, and you still have this expectation of it to be magical, and it's maybe just magical in a different way, and you got to find that. Or it's just like, oh, I'm not a kid anymore. I'm not a naive kid anymore. And there's pain in this world. There's suffering, and everybody is sensitive, and everybody wants this time to be magical, and everybody's trying to make it magical. And it's this craziness that it ends up being not that magical, because
when you're a kid, you don't know about the adult drama. You don't know that magic comes at a price. You don't know that magic comes with travel.
You don't realize that the magic that you felt before was your parents
creating
sacrificing things and making that.
Yep.
Like you said, everything comes with a price. Well, you were able to feel that way because your parents created this whole thing. Yeah. You just see behind the curtain now, and you're still attached to trying to make it be a magical thing. But that's life.
Yeah. I know. I need to stop being a baby about it. It just, it grinds my gears so much.
I don't think you're a baby about it. I think there's so many people that feel the same way.
Yeah.
I mean, it's...
Yeah.
And whether it's Christmas or not, like, so many people feel the same way.
Yeah. I know.
I don't like pulling the poor me card, but it's like when you're forced into not good situations early on in your life, I don't know, you adapt quickly, and you start thinking differently very quickly because you're forced to.
Sure.
But it's like all of us are going to go through these types of tests, and I think it's how are you going to respond to it? Because everybody feels the same way of like, this is difficult and this is hard and I don't like this and it feels not good and it makes it not feel worth going home or not worth doing some of these things. But it's like, how do you grow from it?
Yeah.
How do you do it? Because how do you get the best of that world that you can get?
Yeah.
Because I think Christmas can still be magical. It's just going to be in a different way. It's going to be an adult version way.
Well, and it's not that I'm needing that. I'm not needing it to be magical. I'm not needing it to be like what it is as a kid, when I was a kid. I'm fine with it being completely different or nothing like that. Like, it's not like I'm searching for that feeling. I'm fine with it feeling completely different. It's just the, like, oh, it's so much stress and drama, and that's the part that I'm like, ugh, I don't like
Well,
about it. It's not like, oh, it's not how it used to be. Yeah, no shit, it's not how it used to be. I'm an adult. It shouldn't be how it's like. I mean, like,
yeah.
I don't need it to be that anymore. I don't need it to be magical. It can be magical in a different way, but it's not. I'm not like, you're making it not like how it used to be. No, it's not going to be like how it used to be regardless.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just that, yeah, I don't like getting, it's just the brat in me.
I don't think it's a brat. I don't think it's that. I think it's I don't know. I do. I think like everybody feels this way, especially about that time of year. Like it's just like it just brings
Probably.
it brings out
Yeah.
the
Yep.
sensitivity in
Yep.
everyone. It brings
Because
out the sensitivity.
everybody probably feels like they're doing so much during that time.
Yeah, 100%.
My grandma probably feels like, I'm doing all this shit for you guys, and you don't even help me
100%.
clean up. You don't help me, like,
That's why we always joke about my mom, where
yeah,
it's like, we'll ask her like, "How do you do this?" or "How do you do that?" and she's like, "Whatever." It's like she's got so much more like difficult shit going on.
yeah.
That's like
I don't want to teach you anything.
It's like or you're worried about this thing. Oh man, what? It's
Yeah.
like she has so many way just like beyond problems than
Yeah.
we do that it's like really
Yeah.
like I don't know like you're fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
It's like that.
Yeah.
That's just like that's everybody at that time of year, especially at that time of year. It's
Yeah.
so sensitive and like you just said, everybody feels like they're doing everything they can.
Yeah.
So everybody's super sensitive, and then when things don't go as expected, people are way easier to just like flip the switch and just like this whole thing sucks and you're not doing enough
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
it heightens every emotion. It
Yeah.
heightens the good ones and the bad ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's where I think you just try to get as grounded as you can with it.
Yeah.
Because it's so fluctuating that it's like, no, let me just be right here.
Mm-hmm.
Let me be right here because it's too much of a risk to feel so horrible about going back.
Yeah, and that's something I'm learning each year how to do more and more of, just like, I have me.
Yeah.
Like, I know that sounds kind of cheesy, but like knowing I have me to count on, that like everybody else could be doing them. But
Well,
it's like, I don't need to count on anybody. I don't need to, like, have anybody be there for me. It's like, I'm just here. I can be me. I can do whatever I want. I can still like take it in and be fine and just like take care of myself.
yeah. And
I'm getting better at that. Last year, I think I did the best job at that compared to other years. But still getting better, working on it.
For most people, like us, that time is going to end. Like we're only going to be there for a certain amount of time, and then we'll go back home and we'll be in our routine, and all is that.
Yeah.
That it's like it may be difficult or stressful or whatever, but again, the cheesy thing or the cliche, make the best of it.
Yeah.
Because it's going to end and you're going to go home. Like the time's going to pass. That's something that's always going to happen. Time is always going to pass. So get the most that you can out of it because that time is going to pass, and then you're back home in your routine. And if you're like me, you're like, I don't like my routine. So
Yeah.
really then cherish that time.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we got to try to bring the magic back. I think, at least.
Yeah, I don't care about that.
I think it's just like it's this is super cheesy, but it's like the why can't the adults have the magic? You know, it's like you do all this stuff for the kids, and it's awesome. It's so fun, especially like with our nieces and
Mm-hmm.
nephews, I guess. And like, you know, it's just like it's so fun to be a part of that and put on all the stuff for them or get them things. And
Yeah.
especially being away, like there's only so much we can do to be a part of it. That I think that's why I like getting them gifts. Is
Mm-hmm.
it's like this is just a little bit of what I can
Mm-hmm.
do.
Yeah.
Because we're not there, but it's like that's so fun. But then at the same time, it's like, well, as the adult, we're not parents, but for the parents and the
Mm-hmm.
adults, it's like, well, let's have a little magic for us. Like, what can we do to make this fun and
Yeah.
try to
Well, and
keep
that's
that
why I
Christmas
do
magic?
love hanging out with the kids while I'm there.
Mm-hmm.
Like Christmas Day when we're over at Corey's, the adults will never see me. I'm in the playroom the whole time and
Yeah.
hanging out with them and cuddling with them, taking it all in.
Yeah.
So that definitely helps. But to me, I don't feel a loss of magic. It's not like, oh, Christmas isn't. Hayden, Christmas is still in my eyes. I still have Christmas in my eyes, but it's just the drama that goes along with it. And I'm like, well, the magic is there, but you're being brats.
Yeah, and that's
But
never not going to be there. I think you just got to focus on the magic.
Yeah, I don't need to add more magic, I guess.
I think that's what sucks about growing up is you're a naive little kid that everything is awesome until it's not.
It's probably always been like this.
Yeah.
We're just now the person causing it, or it was somebody else before.
Yeah, we're just the person that's learning this lesson right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I love Christmas, even though that all sounded negative. I love it. I love it so much.
I'm learning to
And
love
Thanksgiving.
it. I'm learning to love it. Not learning to love it. I'm just learning how to. I'm learning how to feel the same way that I always do with Christmas, with dealing with adult emotions. That's what it is.
Sure.
I'm learning how to keep the sparkle of Christmas and keep the magic with. Yeah. My adult expectations on myself. There are so many good things about it too.
But it's like what this podcast is. It's a roller coaster.
Yeah.
I think this is the perfect representation of what the holidays are. Like this podcast. It's a roller coaster.
Sure.
It's all of the things. Yeah, just try to focus on the good ones. You know? For us, it's like just simply going back and seeing people.
This is the hardest.
Well, for me, it's like that simply. Like that's what I should be focused on and looking at. And it's like, just this is good.
Like
nice.
That's enough to. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Like this simply. It's like,
yeah.
Nowadays it's like I'm lucky to see these people twice a year.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be all pissy moany on one of them. No, I don't want to do that. Like, twice a year I get to see these people's freaking faces. And not even just see their faces because we have Zoom and stuff now, but like be there and hug them. And, like.
That's true. I just need to knock it off.
But it's so difficult. That's not easy to do. That's not easy to do when, people are, I don't know, whether they're in your face or just like, you just are witnessing it of like, God, really? What is this?
I think for me, I need to think of it more like that. Like, oh, this is my second time of the year seeing them, or this is my one of the time of year seeing them. Why can't there be drama every single year? Why can't there be complaining about what schedule we chose every single year and that be fine? Like, it still can be what you're talking about of, yeah, we get to see these people. We get to go back home and see them and take time off of work and our regular schedule and do all that. Like, I don't think I see it in a smaller scope as much. I see it as like, yeah. I need to like take it down or like just narrow it a little bit.
Yeah, Christmas is just, it's such a huge thing that if you can make it simpler and smaller, I think it helps.
Yeah. Yeah, just focus on like this Christmas making it good.
Well, and just making it about the simple things. You know, maybe it's you don't see these people that often, so it's just like it's just nice to see these people or be in their presence for a little bit of time, and then other things.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Be out of your routine for a minute.
Yeah. It's hard to do sometimes, but I do agree with you with this.
It's hard to admit I'm right all the time.
No, I think you see things so matter of factly that I need to get better at that. Because I go, okay, my brain understands that, but will my emotions connect to that? But it's just like, yeah, just make them. Just be fine with it.
It's like
not let it
anything.
bother you. Just go with the flow and
It's practice.
go for it full force. Yeah.
It's like anything. It's practice.
Yep. Yep.
Well, I think that's good. I think it's hard to end this episode, but I guess there's no good time besides right now.
Yeah.
So thanks for watching. You can follow our Facebook page or subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's about it.
Yeah.
We've got programs up, Black Friday sale. I think that's everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Everything will be up on our the stuff, the socials.
The socials. And we're going to try to keep rolling out content so that there's just more and more.
Yeah. And
more of us.
Yeah. And if you already know that you want to go, you want the Black Friday sale, you don't even have to go through all of the Facebook or any of that. You can just email us at thehub.fitcrew@gmail.com.
Yeah. Cool.
See ya later.
See you later. See you next time.